think now I'm gonna skip 13 for the time being. Let's go to 14. Report from our long-range planning committee. Do we have a?
Well, we don't have a whole lot to report on. We are working on just a lot of different data and stuff, foreseeing the future. There's a lot of it should be ready by Wednesday. Just different kind of data that we're putting out, but we don't have it complete just yet.
That's the report.
That's the report.
Short and sweet. I like that, Tim. Short and sweet. Sounds good. Now let's go back to 13. Go back one. Discuss necessary action, budget planning for upcoming budget and station manning coming up. So there's quite a bit of information in our packets that Terry provided us. And we have one citizen comment. And
Make that two.
two. All right. Two. All right. Okay. What, Craig?
That was put in at 7:15, so I'm not sure if it can still be commented or
Alright.
not. I'll let you make that decision.
Okay. I'll let you speak. You got 3 minutes. You timing?
I can time.
Okay. All right. Craig, stand up. Make sure we can hear you.
All right. I'll follow everybody else's example. I actually was ready to speak a little bit more on the budget issues directly. I thought we were going to have a budget meeting at 6 over at my old station, Flint Gresham, but I guess I got my schedule mixed up or something. But just kind of speaking from my heart as a former volunteer firefighter, the idea of having 24/7 coverage, I like the idea in theory because you've got people that are going to be available on call. You know, all you got to do is wake up in the middle of the night, jump in the truck, and go. I think what that will do in the short run, though, is I think it will effectively eliminate most of our volunteers. And I've been out for several years, so I'm not trying to speak out of turn, but it might be something that you could poll the volunteers en masse. I mean, I remember Easter morning 2012. I don't remember what time it was, maybe 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was an RV fire. And me and another rookie, we had the thankless job of pulling the body out of that burned structure. And if I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning when those tones drop, and I know that number one, there's already 2 guys there at the station, they're not gonna wait 4 or 5 minutes for me to get there to go on the call. There's gonna be a lot of folks that aren't gonna. I mean, the folks who are in fire service. They do it because if there's something in their heart that cares about people, there's a sense of duty and a sense of calling. That I mean, just the other day I stopped at that one wreck where the truck was off in the trees, and it was already. I don't think when there a fatality in that one.
Yes.
So you know, there's something inside folks in the industry that want to help and that have a sense of duty. But when there's people that are already staffing that job, I think you're going to see a dramatic decrease in the volunteer effort. That I won't say it would kill it completely, but it would definitely have a major impact on what kind of volunteer response you have. Just because they're going to be gone, the ones in the station are going to be already on the scene by the time your volunteers can get there and get suited up and get out in a second out vehicle. So, and on top of that, budget-wise, I mean, that's a significant expense. It's a huge payroll expense. We're already paying two or three folks at all the different stations, 8-9 hours a day, and then multiply that by 2.5 or whatever that factor is, and it's going to be and weekends and everything else. So it's a huge expense, and it may not be. Sorry, was that my time? Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me have an opportunity to speak.
Okay. Next, I'm going to call up David Gerald. David, you're speaking on behalf of your chief, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chief Van Winkle's at Arlington at the State Firemen's Fire Marshals Association function that they're having, but he sent us this. He wanted to say on behalf of Chief Van Winkle and Jackson Heights Volunteer Fire Department that the fire department and the chief are solely in favor of the 24-hour staffing of the stations. The reason being, he feels that it's a proactive step to face an ever-increasing problem across the nation right now. We have across the entire nation with the dwindling volunteers due to a lot of it has to do with family. A lot of it has to do with the economics of today's world where two people are having to work all the time. I mean, we're faced with it every day here. You don't know if you're going to be able to run or not. And then at the time we've got to get up and drive to work, we're not working in the volunteer department's areas anymore. We're having to travel significant distances outside of that area to work. So that puts us an hour and a half, 2 hours just to get back to that area. So that's one of our problems that we've been having. But he says that with our current situation, we have times in the day that it's appropriate and timely response is not available and cannot be guaranteed. The addition of staff is the only way to guarantee this coverage. We understand the issues of funding this, but we also feel it's a small price to pay for the increase in service we will be able to obtain. He says a $15 to $20 increase in taxes per household is technically a small price to pay to ensure a crew is en route to an emergency no matter the time of the day. And on that, I understand your feelings totally. And some volunteers I believe, are going to want to back off. But with this system, I feel personally, and Chief Van Winkle also feels the same way, that it's going to take both. Because the paid staff is not going to be able to do it by themselves, and the volunteer staff is not going to be able to do it by themselves. It's going to have to be a combination of all-in effort from everybody. And I honestly feel, just thinking back to where I was raised up, I wouldn't have been where I am today if it wouldn't have been for the 24-hour stations open and me having, if the doors are open, somebody's there. So these younger generation that are coming up that don't really have a direction to go, if that door's open, maybe they'll be able to go to that door, talk with these guys and say, hey, what do you do? What can I do to get into this? And then they have a mentor there 24 hours. That's like, some of these kids, if they get bad times and they can't talk to anybody, that's where I went. I went to the station. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Terry?
Well, I've been looking at this for about 2 years, and I've worked with a long-range plan. We've got, like, the fire chiefs have had meetings and such as that. Then we go back to looking at our study we had done last year, and there's some things I just want to point out. In your sheets, the first thing you have is key recommendations, summary table. And I just kind of went through it and checked the ones that I feel like we have made progress in. And you can see there's a little gray marked beside some of them there. By doing 24/7 staffing, it would help to take care of some of these key recommendations. Some of them directly say to continue to evaluate need for 24-hour staffing of key stations, provide reductions in response times, work to reduce span of control, firefighter to officer ratio. You know, it's kind of self-explanatory. Y'all get a chance to look at that. That's what that was. The next one, the map